Hello and welcome to Phantom Forces Weapon Spotlight, a series where I give a more subdued and informative look on the weapons of Phantom Forces. In this episode, I'll be covering the Colt LMG. The Colt LMG is an LMG unlocked by default at rank 0. It deals 35 damage up to 60 studs and falls off to 21 damage by 160 studs. It fires at 700 RPM with a 1.1 times body multiplier and a 1.4 times head multiplier. The muzzle velocity is 2500 studs per second and the penetration depth is 1.4 studs. Here is a shots to kill table. It has medium recoil and it holds 60 rounds in the magazine with 180 rounds in reserve of 5.56 NATO rounds. The reload speed is 2.9 seconds and the empty reload speed is 4.1 seconds. It has a 12.5 walk speed and an okay 13 aim speed. The Colt LMG is a great all-rounder LMG that you can use right at rank 0. It does great at close to medium range because of its high damage and good range. The special thing to note here is that it's somewhat better than even other higher rank LMGs at close range. The reload speed is very impressive for a weapon with a 60 round mag, whereas other LMGs with large mags often take a good while to reload. It's most at home at medium range though, as it's got good range and the recoil is pretty controllable. Long range isn't very viable though, as I find that going full auto with that recoil is too hard to manage at that kind of range. So you're going to have to resort to tap firing beyond 100 or so studs. Despite being a rank 0 weapon, the Colt LMG isn't a very beginner friendly weapon. The damage is excellent, but I find that the recoil is hard to control for new players, and the walk speed leaves a lot to be desired compared to things like carbines and assault rifles. Overall, I think it's a very strong weapon though, so I'm putting it in 8 tier. You can use it just from rank 0 up to like rank 200, it's amazing. The 7.62x39 conversion gives you more damage and range at the cost of more recoil and less mag size. It now deals 40.25 damage up to 60 studs and falls off to 23.1 damage by 176.55 studs. The fire rate, multipliers, and penetration depth remain the same, but the muzzle velocity is reduced to 2150 studs per second. Here is a shots to kill table. It has high recoil and it holds 40 rounds in the magazine with 200 rounds in reserve of 7.62x39mm rounds. Everything else here remains the same. The 7.62 conversion is in a bit of a weird place, to be honest. You get more range and damage, but the Colt LMG never really needed more of that. It's not often you engage people beyond 100 studs with automatics anyway, and the 7.62 conversion adds a lot more recoil, which makes it harder to use at range. And you know, that pretty much nullifies the range buff it gives you. Unless you're tap firing, of course. The other notable thing is that this conversion can 2-shot kill to the head at a very good distance, but really, headshots are going to be mostly reserved for close range because the additional recoil makes it very hard to headshot people beyond close range, and especially beyond medium range. I'd say the 7.62 conversion is good only on small maps, and even at that point, it's only marginally and circumstantially better at close range. I'd actually give the 7.62 conversion a B tier because that recoil really hurts your range and the gun as a whole. The .20 tactical conversion gives you a small mag but has better ballistics and handling. The damage, range, fire rate, and body multiplier remain the same, but the head multiplier is increased to 1.47 times, the muzzle velocity is increased to 2625 studs per second, and the penetration depth is increased to 2.1 studs. Here is a shots to kill table. It has slightly increased recoil and it now holds 30 rounds in the magazine with 120 rounds in reserve of .20 tactical rounds. The reload speed is decreased to 2.1 seconds and empty reload speed 3.1 seconds. The walk speed is also increased to 13 and the aim speed is increased to 15.6. The .20 tactical conversion turns the Colt LMG into something akin to an assault rifle. It's pretty much a discount assault rifle. You still have less walk speed than a regular one. And this conversion as a whole doesn't really do much except improve your walk speed and a tiny bit of your ballistics. The recoil increase is pretty negligible, it doesn't feel bad. The conversion is also pretty much on par with default like 60 round mag Colt LMG in my opinion, but the increased maneuverability makes it better on larger maps and for people who prefer more aggressive playstyles. It trades away the big mag for 2-shot kill to the head at close range, which is fair, I'd say. I would give this conversion an A tier, the same as the default ammo. And that concludes this episode of Phantom Force's Weapon Spotlight. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel as it helps a lot. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.